All right, so good morning, Go Anna fans. I am here today with Shilton. Say good morning.
Morning.
And we have been so disgusted with the competition lately, we thought we'd do a PvP tutorial. No, that's not true. It's just there are so many fantastic people online that the both of us spend most of our days or nights coaching other people in the ring, and we meet a lot of fantastic people that way, but we thought we'd put together a quick video and just explain a few things to the people that haven't had a chance to meet us yet. Maybe you can pick up some pointers on YouTube. So the first one is character choice. Did you want to explain that one?
Well, since you have the camera, it'd probably be easier for you to show them the pointer. Let's see.
Oh, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Okay, so first thing you want to remember with PvP is character choice does matter. Each character has a certain amount of stamina. For example, if you take Leo in the yellow shorts here, he has the attribute Spirited, reduced stamina loss. Basically what that means is he can punch for longer without getting tired. Whereas you take somebody like Rhino, the big fella, he's strong, but he has increased stamina loss, so he can only punch a couple of times before his gloves go red. The reason why this matters is when your gloves go red, you can no longer punch. Your gloves won't follow your hands. You can no longer block either. Once your gloves are red, and I try and block, Shilton here can punch straight through my guard. My gloves will actually part and allow his fist straight through when they're flashing red. So let's choose a couple of characters and move straight into the fight. Now, I like this little guy. He's strong, but he's got less hit points. But this doesn't cover all the attributes they have. He's also got a good amount of stamina. Not as good as Leo's, and he's not as strong as Rhino. He's a bit of a mixture. But just playing the game will give you... what's the term I'm looking for? A more comprehensive feel to it, and you'll gradually find a character which you love. Now, when you get into the ring, you'll work out your block goes from the tip of your glove all the way to the point of your elbow. And if we come in here and touch gloves, and if Shilton holds his guard up, I can see punch his glove all the way to his elbow, and none of those are going through. Now, what you can also notice now, that I've hit him 3 or 4 times, my glove is no longer making an impact. It's bright red. It doesn't even follow my hand anymore. So what that means is no longer, not even can I not punch, but if I hold it up to block, Shilton can punch straight through it. Well, could have done. All right, so ways to make your gloves go red. Obviously, the worst one is punching somebody's guard. You do that a couple of times, and yeah, completely lost my glove. And getting hit straight through it, because I can't do anything with this silly thing, and it takes a long time to come back. Other ways to make your gloves glow red: waving them around wildly, or even just walking around the ring will make your gloves go red. Everything uses stamina, so keep that in mind. How do you get your gloves back?
If you squat too much or touch the ground, your gloves go red immediately.
Absolutely. Think of them like World War II Gatling guns and those old World War II first-person shooters, where every time you fire them, they heat up a little bit. And if you let them cool down straight away, then you're fine. However, if you overheat them completely, it takes forever for them to cool down. So it's a good idea to alternate your strikes so that you don't overheat your gloves too much. Is there anything else you'd like to add to
that? No, that's pretty much it.
Okay, now that we've got it, what would you say is your best blocking formation? I see a lot of people, they're really disappointed when they keep getting hit no matter how they block. It's a good
kind of like this.
So that covers the ribs Oh, got one through there. Nice. I'll have to remember that one for future fights. And it also covers the head. Now, I think I can hit the shoulder. No. There we go. One on the shoulder. If I hook... No. That is a fantastic cover. Now, a lot of people will be saying, no, that's not real boxing. Well, you're exactly right. This is a computer game. In case you haven't figured it out yet, this is a computer game. It's not real boxing. And you need to work within the game parameters. And you also need to allow for a couple of seconds of lag. So moving around and keeping your head moving not only is a good exercise for you, but that half a second of lag will really help you to avoid punches. Now, what happens when you actually connect? Well, different fighters have different attributes. If you're using someone strong, like myself, it'll only take 4 punches or so to get a stagger. There we go. 4 punches, your opponent is staggered, which then lets you pretty much have your way with him. Now, if I was using somebody like Scraps, it'd take 7 to 8 punches to get a stagger. So you need to keep that in mind. Once you've got them staggered, then the fight's fairly easy from there. But I would recommend just using one hand or alternating and slowly, because when your opponent comes out of their stagger, they're going to want to hit you back. But you can get the first 2 punches in while they're recovering, and then you only need to hit them twice more to get your next stagger, and you can actually keep them permanently staggered for the whole fight, which you've seen.
Yeah, a couple times.
All right, so we're going to have a quick fight, see if we can put this to the test. Is there anything you'd like to add before we...
Just a backhand and a front hand, that counts as the same amount of strike. Did you go over the blue strikes versus red strikes?
No, I haven't.
Okay, there's 2 hit powers. There's the blue strike, which is probably counts as like, we'll say 10 hit points, and then 20 hit points for the orange one. That means you're punching a little bit harder. Quick combos, you can do like a backhand and a forehand.
Oh, it looks like Ramirez is reeling from that one.
So that kind of does 4 hits right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can get a quick fight in here.
All right, now, that did remind me of something else to bring up quickly, and now I've instantly forgotten. That's right, combos. Now, like we mentioned earlier, it's not a real fight. Doesn't matter if you swing from the hip or put your shoulder into it or get a big wind-up, it's not going to do any more damage. The computer takes it on the speed of the controller. So just with a tiny little flick, you can get maximum damage, and my wrist is pretty much just doing that.
The advantage of that is it uses less stamina because it's a short distance.
Absolutely.
So you can still get maximum damage.
Now we also experimented the other day. A lot of times when people get stunned, they recover from the stun and they don't have their gloves, which really sucks. And the thing is, if you could please stun me. Trying to put your hands in the circles is moving your arms around. Now that was fairly easy, but if Shilton would like to continue to punch me, those circles keep moving. They keep moving, and they can be, the gloves will be glowing bright red because I had to adjust a few times to get those circles. Now, that can get quite bad to the point that you lose your gloves altogether and it's unrecoverable. So that's a good thing to keep in mind as well.
There's one more thing about the stun you taught me yesterday. When you get stunned, you can take a couple steps backwards. So that way when you're out of the stun, you're away from the opponent.
Absolutely.
You can try that on me. Go ahead and stun me.
Definitely. All right.
Looks like he's going for the knockout.
And then they instantly teleport back. Now, the reason for that is if you stun me, they'll get a different perspective from my camera. I can take 2 steps backwards in real life. My character won't actually move, but when he comes out of the stun, he will automatically jump to me. And that will give you the distance you need, hopefully, to recover and counterattack. Okay. So let's see if we can put those into motion. So a couple of good quick combos. If you're leading with your right, like I do, now that's a big slow hook, and hooks are fantastic. Most people will hold their hands up like this. So the way to get past it, that's right, come in from the sides and just hook, but it's slow. If you can, just move yourself a couple of degrees in. Drop this hand, please. I know it sucks when you can see it coming, but you can just get those quick flicks, a hook, and then a hook to the ribs. So you got 1, 2, hook, and that's your 4. If all 4 land, you'll get your stunning combo. Alright, now let me recenter myself in my tiny little play area. And I think we are good to go.
Okay, let's go.
No, one more thing. Sorry. I know everybody wants to see the fight, but no. Flurries. You will find a lot of people that'll either come up and they'll flurry like this, or you get people that do this, which won't actually work. All right, firstly, if they're flurrying like this, they can only do it in one spot. It's only at your head, and it's so easy to block. Now, what happens if you punch somebody's guard? Your gloves turn bright red, and then Shilton can't block the counterattack. So none of his punches got through. And 3 of mine got through. So block first, then counterattack. Their gloves will go red, and then they can't stop you. Okay. I think that covers all the basics.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Oh, when you get, we can show them when we get knocked down. They tell you to run like this. That's the slower way to run. The quicker way to run is like this.
Absolutely.
That's how you get up from, that's an easy way to get up from a 9 count, or your 3rd knockdown.
Definitely. Also, if you need to disengage from the fight quickly.
Yeah, you can scoot back like that.
You will find little buggers running all over the place. All right. Ow. Now, follow the script. So try and alternate your highs and your lows, because no matter how good your opponent's guard is, they're going to leave one area open. And it really becomes more of a martial arts fight. Instead of traditional boxing, you're just looking to score points. You're looking for that open area.
We kind of call it Connect 4 because you're looking for a stun, and that usually takes 4 hits.
Absolutely. And we did some damage to each other in the tutorial, so that's why we're getting a couple of fast knockdowns here. But that should even it up nicely. Now, as you can see, I've lost my gloves there because I went for a couple of big swings. Ah! Now, you will come across another bug as well. On the first round, it can teleport your opponent to the corner and leave you standing in the middle of the ring. Now, here's the problem with it. Only one person has the power in their gloves to control the match. Now, if I bring up my game menu, as you can see, I have no line. I can't do anything. And if that happens, Shilton would be teleported to the corner, I would be stuck in the middle of the ring, and I am unable to exit the game. Only Shilton would have the power to exit us back to the gym. Unfortunately, if you're fighting a potato who doesn't realize that, you're going to be stuck there for a very long game time and may have to restart the game completely. So just in case any devs are watching that is a bug you've had from day one and still haven't fixed. Happens to, what would you say, 20-30% of the matches?
Yeah, and the only way to get around that is to disable rounds, and sometimes that It doesn't disable rounds.
Yeah. Super annoying. Oh, and if any devs are listening, if you get knocked down, muting the other person's microphone because you're so far away, really dumb idea because we're trying to have a conversation here. Also, when you get knocked down in the ring, your recenter position button should work to line you back up to the ring. Like I said, I've got to stay the same way in my room, and if I get knocked down on this angle, I'm hitting things to get back to the ring. So, recenter button should also work for the run back in. Okay. We good? Grr.
One, two, three, four.
And no gloves when you come back to the ring. That sucks.
Yep.
One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So, just to recap, if you've got somebody that's really aggressive, remember to block, then counterattack. If you've got somebody a little more experienced that can get past your guard, you're going to need to get that combination of 4 first.
Nice one.
Fantastic fight, man.
Can you see how can you see the score on yours?
Yeah, 79-79.
That's because you're using a power player with harder punches.
Absolutely. Yeah, you blocked a few more, and you got more staggers, but and that's the difference. Player choice does matter. Shilton's player can punch for a lot longer, but his punches don't do as much damage, and that's something you've got to take into consideration. Now, if I take... alright, let's take scraps, which is something I never recommend anybody does, unless they're just trying to show off.
At the other end of the spectrum is Drago.
Absolutely. Please continue. Yeah, Drago is completely overpowered. See,
Drago takes about 70 punches to knock you out.
Oh,
Scraps is more like in the Scraps is like 120 range.
Yeah. I reckon Drago would only take about 60 to take Scraps out though. 70 for a normal player.
Oh yeah, because Scraps has reduced health. Yeah.
And yeah, Scraps is going to take... And the other big difference, I've got to hit you 7 or 8 times to get a stun on you, and you've only got to hit me 3 or 4. So, and once you've got that stunned, the damage you can unleash. But let's see how this plays out.
You want to do a full fight?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
You can see for a lot of that, I'm just swinging blue gloves. I mean, my hands are going, but there's no glove attached to the end of it. It's because that's another bug in the game where your gloves can actually get stuck on your opponent's shoulder and don't return to you. But more likely, they're just busy doing something else like flashing red and not obeying your controls. They take so long to come back.
And we're usually nice to each other and let the other person recover, but you don't have to do that.
No, you will find in your travels a lot of players that are quite disrespectful and either want to play with their own crutches or fondle yours, but they're just more fun to beat up. Because I've never met any player that opens the match like that can actually fight. Have you?
No.
No. Hey, he's not running. Come on. That is another bug you'll find. Sometimes you just won't run. Same with moving around the ring. You know, you press your two big tracking pad buttons and move your hands, and occasionally you will just lose all movement. You just got to wait for it to come back. So many bugs in this game. Poor Scraps.
Yeah, that's such a disadvantage there. Well, that took me 90 hits.
That's more than I expected.
Yeah, it is. Huh.
Alright, let's move on. I think I'll do a wrap up there and say thank you for tuning in. I'm going to have a few more fights with Shilton, and if we get a really good one, I'm going to keep recording and I will tag it on. If there's something really funny, like the catch him picking his nose, we will definitely have that in there. But apart from that, I hope you all have a fantastic year, and I hope this video has helped a few of you. So it's goodbye from him. That is goodbye from me. Obviously not a Two Ronnies fan. Catch you guys. And I'm stuck again. There we go.
You can make it. You can make it, Creed.
Come on, there we go.
And they're still going to let you fight, even though you weren't able to get in the ring properly.
Yeah.
Nice one.
I didn't think that was going to go my way. Just hit all the flashes around my head. I thought, I'm not going to last. Yeah, it was close. That second knockdown's a weird one. That can come at any time.
Yeah, you had a really quick third one that one time, too.
Yeah, on Drago. And then he just wouldn't go down for the fourth. It didn't recover me. Recovered you, it didn't recover me. fall down. Thank you. I need to get back up. I can show myself out.
It's gonna be a close one.
First to fall.
Yep.
The Connect 4 champion. I still don't have my gloves back.
I only had 90 punches.
That was very even.
You're getting tired.
Yeah, water. Time for a game changer. It's not going to let me change character. There we go.
Alright, no rules. That should change up.
No hiding in the dumpster.
Alright, we're settling this man to man. No refs, no audience.
Nipple to nipple, just like real men. Your flurry is much more effective than mine. I'm going to have to develop something along those lines. I just can't get close enough to utilize it. By the time I've got you stunned, I'm already at my wall and I can't step in to do those two-handed combos.
See, what I'm doing is I'm anticipating that after a few down here, I'm anticipating you're going to go high and let your block up.
Yeah.
So then you start punching up here and I'm because you're not guarded up here.
Makes sense. Smart thinking.
Now you probably beat me.
You're punching straight through my guard anyway.
So you need to get the Oculus Flurry Rift. Nice blocking.
Hey, couldn't get in a single count of that.
It almost looked like we knew what we were doing there.
Like a keto, you know, where they just do the big hand slappy thing?
Yep.
Like a really bad Steven Seagal movie. Smack. Smack. Yeah.
Yep.
Bleh. Sure, I'll not run it back for that. You can have it. Where's my aircon gone? Here we are.
Street fight, I think I killed him.
Definitely. Study the opponent.
Just remember, in the video, when you see me doing this, next time it might be this.
Yeah, I will keep that in mind. Next time it may be this. Oh, I love it. He's getting the hips in.
If you go into the ring like this, they're gonna...
Stuck.
They touch gloves.
Yeah.
This is how I was trained to fight.
Yeah. Mixed ballet. Mighty mixed ballet.
Drives off. Right to his opponent.
Can't mix it up on the last one, that's not fair. I don't want to be a bum. Alright, that's better. Keep doing that. Getting ugly quick, Rhino, you better do something. Oh, you stunned me.
Wasted stun. Ah. No.
Ouch.
No. Need that.
Nobody deserves that.
Well fought, my friend.
I thought you had me there, but I think halfway through you went back to your old ways.
Quite possibly. Still, nice close match.
A lot of blocks.